himself Chip. As a result, he began spelling it out. T-I-P.
The best name I like for T.I., it had to be T.I. because, like, that's the name he used now for, like, his peak of his career. It's kind of fit him. But I kind of like the Rubber Band Man, too, because the Rubber Band Man, one time when in interviews, I heard him say the rubber band around his wrist represent the struggle before all the bling and the bling blow.
I think T.I. is the best name. Short, to the point, people remember it.
So why does he call himself T.I.? After signing with Arista Records in 2001, he shortened his name to T.I. out of respect for another musician. Tip was too similar to his label mate's name, Q-Tip. Whether he's going by T.I., T.I.P., or Tip, he's as unique as his music. People got a taste of T.I. from his 2001 debut album, I'm Serious. Pharrell Williams of the Neptunes, who referred to T.I. as the Jay-Z of the South, Jazzy Faye, and Youngbloods all lended their voices to the album. Despite help from these notables, the album did not do very well, forcing Arista Records to drop him from their label. That didn't stop T.I. from reaching his musical dreams. He formed Grand Hustle Records and released several mixtapes. With the help of DJ Drama, the tapes got a lot of underground buzz. In the summer of 2003, T.I. resurfaced on Bone Crusher's song, Never Scared. He parlayed this attention toward the release of his second album, Trap Music. Trap Music solidified T.I.'s music on the streets and on the charts. The album reached the number 4 spot on the Billboard charts with the hits Be Easy, Rubber Band Man, and Let's Get Away. But the celebration came to a halt. T.I. was sentenced to jail for a probation violation. Luckily, he was granted work release to finish recording his third album. In 2004, T.I. released Urban Legend. The album proved to be an instant hit, debuting at number 7 on the Billboard 200. It instantly generated crossover success with the hit single, Bring 'Em Out. On this album, T.I. set himself apart from other rappers from the South. He managed to paint the real picture of Southern inner city living that so many of his colleagues have failed to do. Of course, this album had a little help. Some of the artists featured on Urban Legend include Nelly, Manny Fresh, Lil Wayne, and Lil Kim. While many of his fellow musicians fell into the trap of valuing style over substance, T.I. managed to rise above it on this album. He told a series of stories with amazing lyrics throughout the entire record. T.I. also paid homage to hip-hop's East Coast roots. He rapped over a sample of Run DMC's classic, King of Rock, where he gave fans a glimpse into his mind. He explained why he's so cocky in the lyrics. I came, I saw, I conquered. With no big name, no fame, no celebrity sponsors. On the final track, My Life, which features West Coast rapper Daz Dillinger, T.I. showed listeners his ability to adapt to an entirely different style of hip-hop. But like any album, it did have its flaws. One critic said, some of the songs lacked the fire of T.I.'s first album, I'm Serious, and the maturity of his sophomore effort, Trap Music. One of the tracks he's referring to is Limelight. Even though PSC Click member Big Country's vocals complemented the song nicely and the chorus was acceptable, he thought the song in its entirety was quite lackluster. Another flaw was that T.I. fell short on a number of subjects. He constantly referred to people hating on him throughout the album, but after a certain point it became too redundant, leaving fans wanting more. Despite the few flaws, overall, Urban Legend was a definite buy. It spawned smash hits like Bring 'Em Out and the Grammy-nominated You Don't Know Me. T.I.'s fourth album, King, moved off shelves as quickly as it came. It hit stores in March 2006 and sold over 520,000 copies in its first week. It also debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200. Even mobile provider Sprint was getting in on the action. They partnered with T.I. to offer images, downloads, and exclusive ringers even before King's release date. In April 2006, T.I. was Sprint's featured artist of the month. 3 unreleased tracks, along with his instrumentals for What You Know and Ride With Me, were made available, along with full music videos for video-enabled phones. Why the sudden interest from Sprint? Because T.I.'s previous album, Urban Legend, proved popular with Sprint customers. More than 1 million music tones were downloaded from that album. But all that praise and recognition about King wasn't enough to keep T.I. smiling. He felt like he was still playing catch-up. He had mixed feelings because he felt that his career should have taken off in 2001 with the release of his first album, I'm Serious. He said, I feel like I should have had Nelly's or 50's career. I should have dropped and debuted at #1 and went hard from the top. But God don't make mistakes, and I don't regret none of the things I went through.
I like King of the South. That's my favorite album from T.I.
I think it's tough to make an impact with your first album anyways. And where he's a southern rapper, a lot of people weren't really paying attention to rap coming out of the South until recently. So it makes sense that with his third album, he got popular, but the earlier albums were kind of under the radar.
To me personally, I felt T.I. on the album before this one. But he wrote this whole album off this single we just had, and then he dropped another single with the female. Why you wanna? But nah, T.I. 5 to 10 years, it's gonna be who, what, and where. Right now, from the South and where he coming from, nah, he fell off this album. This album was whack, point blank period. He had 2 hits. The album before this was running with a couple of songs. I could play, skip. Now I'm skip, play, skip, play, and that's it. So I don't see him nowhere 5 to 10 years. And PSC, that's a here today, gone tomorrow whole clip. Nah, real. I ain't even famous yet, and I'm feeling myself better than them, so I let them know he was out.
I like the music, I like the way he performed on the song, you know.
He was underrated then, Urban Legend. But then he came back with this one, and like, nah, he rolled it off with that, What You Know About That single, and that was it.
T.I. he now earned his place in the music business because like the first album he did, it's like he had to like kind of pay his dues to be up there with the 50 Cents and the Snoop Dogg. So I believe he paid his dues now. He's been on his job.
The second single from King, Why You Wanna, may be familiar to dance enthusiasts. T.I. used a sample from Crystal Waters' hit, Gypsy Woman. T.I. said that he couldn't take any credit for that sample. It was actually one of his producers at Grand Hustle who introduced him to the track. As soon as he started playing Gypsy Woman, everyone in the room started singing along. That's when T.I. knew he had to put it on his album. It's no wonder King did so well. One reviewer said that the album showed maturity. Even T.I. wanted it to be his best work. He said that everything he thought he could have done different in his other albums, he did on King. What was his secret? Not only did he do it differently, he did it better. If his fans listen carefully, they may realize that some of the songs from his previous 3 releases were reincarnated and mutated into something better. For those who liked You Don't Know Me, for which T.I. received a Grammy nomination for Best Solo Rap Performance, T.I. gave them not 1, but 2 songs, Top Back and I'm Straight. Those who enjoyed Praying for Help, again, T.I. came up with 2 better versions, Good Life and Living in the Sky. What Do You Know, the first single from King, became the #1 most added track at both CHR Rhythmic and urban radio stations nationwide. The video to the song features cameos by actor Mike Epps and Travis Barker of Blink-182. It was directed by Chris Robinson, who also directed T.I. in his acting debut in the Warner Brothers film ATL. The video shows a day in the life of T.I., where he attends the premiere of ATL, joins the film's cast in the theater, and then attends the after party. Most of the music from King had people singing, but the track I'm Talking to You had a lot of people talking. There was a lot of chat rooms on the internet dedicated to the song. Fans were trying to figure out exactly who T.I. was dissing, if anyone. Some speculated that it was more of a general warning because otherwise T.I. would have been more upfront about it. They said that if he did have a problem with somebody specific, he would straight out say their name. But T.I. put the speculations to rest. He told reporters that he didn't have anyone specific in mind. He was really just talking about anyone who represents fakeness. He also said that it's really about things that go on day to day throughout his life that most people have no idea about. And why should he mention a specific person that no one knows? It doesn't really make any sense. All in all, the album was highly praised for T.I.'s sincerity in delivering his rags to riches story. While other musicians spend much of their albums giving an inventory of their materialistic possessions, T.I. avoided that trap. If you're yearning for more songs on King, check out the mixtape, The Leak. T.I. had to drop 2 of the original songs from his 4th album because they were leaked on the internet right before the album's release. You can find both songs along with new tracks on his mixtape. King might be T.I.'s latest album, but hopefully it won't be his last. Whether it's breaking up with your first boyfriend or girlfriend, or moving out of your parents' house to live in an exciting new city, it's never easy to say goodbye. But when your best friend and confidant leaves you forever, it's the hardest thing you ever have to go through. Unfortunately, on Wednesday, May 3rd, 2006, T.I. had to do just that. His longtime childhood friend and personal assistant, 26-year-old Philont Johnson, was killed in a gun battle in Cincinnati, Ohio. Witnesses told police that a fight began at a post-performance party for T.I. and fellow rapper Young Jock at Club Ritz. A dispute with locals broke out, so T.I. and his entourage decided to leave the party. But it didn't seem to matter. 2 dark-colored SUVs pursued T.I. and his crew, and a gun battle ensued. That was the beginning of the end for one of T.I.'s crew. His best friend, Philont Johnson, was pronounced dead at the Cincinnati hospital several hours later. Luckily, T.I. didn't suffer any injuries, but 3 others from his group did. A 22-year-old woman from Minnesota was hospitalized but in stable condition, while a 40-year-old bodyguard and a driver were treated and released. T.I. told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that he wasn't sure what sparked the fight that ended his friend's life. All he knew was that some partygoers at Club Ritz were enraged just because someone threw money at the audience members during a set by Young Jock. A witness told the Cincinnati Enquirer that the money was for the ladies, but the money accidentally hit some men in the face. The men took offense to this because they thought, "We got money, so why they throw